Come see us on tour. We're going to be in Baltimore, Hartford, Connecticut, Syracuse, Atlantic City, Levittown, New York, Cohoes, New York, and Providence, Rhode Island. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. You know how everybody's screaming about Elon Musk doing the DOGE thing, cutting waste from government? Well, it's kind of crazy because that's what the Democrats have been saying since Bill Clinton. Well, here, first I'll show you Barack Obama. Obama himself stated that he didn't need Congress to cut wasteful spending. So don't waste my time with your pathetic lie. Here's the clip. So you want to see it? Here it comes. And by the way, this is the next thing your liberal blue no matter who friends are simply going to shrug off and move on from. And if you're waiting for them to apologize, we will get affordable eggs before these dull-eyed Teletubbies admit they were fooled. But here it is. Watch this.
Well, from the day I took office, one of the commitments that I made to the American people was that we would do a better job here in Washington in rooting out wasteful spending. At a time when families have had to cut back, have had to make some tough decisions about getting rid of things that they don't need in order to make the investments that they do, we thought that it was entirely appropriate for our governments and our agencies to try to root out waste, large and small, in a systematic way. Obviously, this is even more important given the deficits that we've inherited and that have grown as a consequence of this recession. This makes these efforts even more imperative. Now, this does mean making some tough choices. It means cutting some programs that I think are worthy, but we may not be able to afford right now. A lot of the action is in Congress and legislative and in the budget. I know that the Joint Committee on trying to reduce our deficits are engaged in a very difficult conversation right now, and we want to encourage them to complete their work. But in the meantime, we don't need to wait for Congress in order to do something about wasteful spending that's out there. Cutting waste, making government more efficient is something that leaders in both parties have worked on, from Senator Tom Coburn, Republican, to Democrat Claire McCaskill. We haven't seen as much action out of Congress as we'd like, and that's why we launched on our own initiative the campaign to cut waste. Not just to cut spending, but to make government work better for the American people. For example, we've identified thousands
of what?
Of government buildings that we don't need.
So anyway, you get the point, right? Not waiting for Congress. And he's trying to save taxpayers billions of dollars. Wow, what a MAGA Trumper Obama was, am I right? I mean, Sure, talking about cutting spending is okay, but actually doing it, I'm pretty sure that's illegal.
Yeah. Great job, Obama.
And the problem, just a community note, the problem is not government waste. The problem is an ongoing criminal government conspiracy to extract every last bit of wealth from you and then spend it on killing you. So that's Obama. And I know my friends are going to say, but Jimmy, I like how he talks. Trump makes crazy things sound crazier. Obama makes crazy things sound reasonable.
What crazy thing? That there's two genders?
It's not hypocrisy when the Democrats do it, because the Democrats are fighting for the people. They're fighting for about 250 people, but, you know, still, they're people.
Trump's going to put actors in camps.
He's going to, yeah. So, in his first weeks, Bill Clinton, this is according to Kanoka, he ordered 100,000 job reduction in government. He ordered it. Over 8 years, he cut 380,000 federal jobs. That's a 16% decrease. This was largely driven by Reinventing the Government Initiative, or REGO, spearheaded by Al Gore to streamline operations and reduce bureaucracy. The result, the deficit was erased and the U.S. ran a budget surplus for the first time in decades. Today, annual interest payments on the national debt have doubled in 4 years, reaching $1.17 trillion. That's just the interest. Now exceeding the entire U.S. defense budget. America is $36 trillion in debt, and we print another $1 trillion every 100 days.
Oh, good. We can pay it then.
History proves it can be done. The real question is, will D.C. Democrats and activists, judges, get out of the way. So that's according to him.
It's so funny. This isn't waste. These are all criminal schemes everybody's been sucking off the government with.
Here's Bill Clinton saying the same thing that Barack Obama and DOGE is saying.
The people demand and deserve an active government on their side. But they don't want a government that wastes money, a government that costs more and does less. They voted for change. They wanted a literal revolution in the way government operates.
Whoa!
And now you and I must deliver. Yesterday, I announced the reorganization of the White House staff that will reduce our staff by 25% and cut costs by $10 million per year. Today, I have called you, the members of the cabinet, together to take the next step, to begin the overhaul of government as a whole. The steps we're taking today will save the American taxpayers $9 billion. They won't be easy, but they will make a difference. We have an obligation and an opportunity to change the way government works and to show that government can do more with less. Our government needs change. For the last dozen years, I've heard our leaders call loudly for less government while giving people more government, and perhaps more importantly, while giving almost no attention to better or different government, to new ways in which partnerships could be made with people in the private sector and in the state and local governments. First, I am ordering a reduction of the federal bureaucracy by at least 100,000 positions over the next 4 years. At least 10% of these cuts must come from senior management. The cuts can come from attrition. I see no need for layoffs. These cuts will make our government more efficient and more effective. The government is full of dedicated people whose hard work is being choked off by our own bureaucracy. Second, I'm ordering each federal department and agency to reduce its administrative as opposed to its program cost by 12% over the next 4 years. With better planning and innovation, we can make better use of the money we already have. In many agencies, overhead is too high, red tape is too thick, and the day-to-day...
And what do you think they're spending on that camera guy? I mean, they could probably fire him. He can't even...
The operations of the agencies have not been re-examined in a very long time. I believe government can both care about people and be careful with their money. Third, I am today ordering the elimination of hundreds of unproductive and duplicative advisory commissions that have spread across this government like kudzu. I'm asking the Office of Management and Budget to eliminate at least 1/3 of the 700 advisory boards and commissions that were not created by Congress. From now on, agencies and departments will not be allowed to create new commissions without permissions from OMB.
That is not a joke. That's a straight fact.
We simply cannot allow the federal bureaucracy to beget more bureaucracy.
You're fired. Get out of here. You're fired.
Here's more. You want to see more?
At the Office of Management and Budget, Director-Designate Rivlin tells me the federal government will offer buyouts to another 40,000 employees at the beginning of the new fiscal year next month.
Come on. This has got to be shocking to a lot of people. It was to me like, oh, yeah, I lived through this. And then I saw this video. I'm like, oh, yes. That's right. And that's exactly what Trump's doing. He offered all these federal employees buyouts. And they took it. Same thing Bill Clinton did. Isn't this amazing how they can make it seem fascist?
And they balanced the budget in time for the new war.
Yeah.
I am more convinced now than ever that we have to keep doing this, that we have to make this reinventing government a permanent process, and that there are serious structural issues which still have to be addressed. Washington needs to work for ordinary middle-class Americans, and in order to do that, we have got to find a way to open this process up so that the public interest can always overwhelm particular interest in matters of great importance.
I'm slack-jawed. Here's more.
Yeah.
Here's more.
This report tells us how to cut waste, cut red tape, streamline the bureaucracy, change procurement rules, change the personnel rules, and create a government that works better and costs less.
The Reinventing Government, or REGO report, aims to save $108 billion over 5 years through eliminating scores of wasteful programs and regulations. Among the 800 recommendations, eliminating 12% of the federal workforce, merging some government agencies like the FBI, the DEA, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, closing hundreds of government offices outside Washington.
So now you know the rest of the story. They've been talking about doing this since I was a kid. And all of a sudden Trump and Elon Musk, oh my God! Oh my God! Where are my pearls? I need to clutch them.
Well, that's an old generation. The new generation doesn't remember that. They were born to a world of where Obama had done things perfectly and added all these new great jobs for millennials that have useless skills, you know? They really did rob that entire generation of everything.
Well, they did reinvent government, exactly. That's what they stifled open discussion about the real wasteful spending in Kosovo and put it in soothing platitudes the fans love so much. They did that.
Yeah. It never means the military. The thing that's unprecedented is saying, I want to cut the military.
Yeah. But Al Gore is the environmental non-scientist. He's saving the whole planet, Kurt, at least for his rich wife and her friends.
Yeah.
And Bill Clinton had his own emissions control problems, if you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying. Come see us on tour. We're going to be in Baltimore, Hartford, Connecticut, Syracuse, Atlantic City, Levittown, New York, Cohoes, New York, and Providence, Rhode Island. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.